Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome into Tuesday Night Live. I am Casey from Ormsby Farm, the Halfway Homestead.
And we're Jesse and Lisa from Lazy Days Ahead. How y'all doing?
Hey guys, it's Monica from Bland's Promised Land Ranch. Now, as you might notice, we have some special guests. Jesse and Lisa are here from Lazy Days Ahead, and we thank you guys so much. And they are filling in for a few weeks here because Miss Ann from Andale Homestead, our third wheel here that always fits in so perfectly and keeps us humming, she is off on some family time right now. There's Miss Ann. She's hanging out with her family and taking care of her wonderful husband as they go through some things. So if you could definitely keep Miss Ann in your prayers and her husband Worth, they are going through some things and they definitely need all your prayers and all your support. So don't forget to go over and check out Miss Andale's channel. You can click on our link tree, which is that QR code over there. And you can find Andale Homestead, or you can click in the links, and sometimes the links are in the chat. So definitely go find Miss Andale Homestead and go watch some of her videos. It always helps to keep her videos in your loop, in your feed, and that way we can support her in any way we can. So Casey, I think there's a lot of people in the chat, and without Miss Ann here, that is left to us now. So do you feel confident in your abilities to say, hey, y'all, hey, to all of our friends?
I'm so ready. I'm going to try to do it. Accent.
You can do it.
All right. Let's back all the way to the front. Okay. Joe, fix it for you. He said Tuesday our Tuesday gets a lot better too when Jesse and Lisa are here.
I know.
We're right there with you. How you doing, Joe? All right. Ann, how are you from Virginia?
Yeah.
Mike Henderson. Hey, everyone. See, Randy, the Missouri Outlaw. How are you? Thanks for coming in. I'm scrolling. I'm not as bubbly as Ann. I've just noticed that. Rhonda Dotson, thanks for coming in. Auntie Jan. Hey, Auntie Jan. Rebecca, touched by yarn. That's how Ann usually does it, though. I will say that. Mm-hmm. Rebecca, touched by yarn.
Yes.
So I'm getting the hang of it right here,
You're
y'all.
doing good. You're doing so good.
Homestead. Hello. She says hello. Cynthia Delot, all the way from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you you helped me out there. All right, check your pockets. Douglas, I don't have nothing in my pockets, Douglas. Yeah. Tammy Blessed. Hey, Tammy, thanks for coming in. New York.
Your gal, Florida Heart. Yeah, there you go. I didn't know if you could decipher that, right? She's got it all linked together. Welcome in.
You see the look that I'm giving you, Monica?
I know. Sorry.
I almost didn't know. Arnaber at Good Enough Homestead. Did I say that right?
I think so.
Arnaber?
Yeah.
Okay. Nope. How are you?
Don't forget Jennifer Ocean Homestead, all the way from Canada.
We saw her a minute ago. We said hello.
I was about to say,
you did?
Yeah.
Goodness.
I didn't hear you say
we missed it.
We missed it.
Yeah. Carol Walters. How are you, Carol? And there's our Ginger. That's another Annity. We'll call it that. Annity. Not from Nothing Homestead. Okay, I'm done. Pass it on to pass it back to Monica. What are we talking about, Monica?
Oh, don't forget Christine, No Fun Christine from Mrs. Gillum Farm. She is in here too. Hello. She is listening. She's listening. She's not going to have any fun though. She is only listening to us. Mr. Rudy's in here. Yeah, it looks like everybody's in here. Thank you guys so much for coming in tonight. Okay. So
I'm sorry.
Yesterday on our podcast, we discussed the first part of our 6-part series, and we released the hay bale prepper guide yesterday, which is awesome. And so yesterday's topic was, who do we prep for? Like, why are we prepping? And like, how many people are prepping for? And like the whole beginning of it, right? Is it too late to prep? Like, is it too late to start prepping? And how do you know how to start? Because I feel like sometimes that can be super overwhelming for us, right? Is where do we start prepping? So if you're in the chat and you have some tips for like, where to start, like where mentally, if you just think, oh my goodness, I see all these disasters going on down in Texas, all these other places. I mean, there's nothing you can do to prepare for something like that. Those flood victims, all that flooding, that happened in the middle of the night. But if you can prepare for disasters in any way, now's the time to start. And how do you start? How do you do it without feeling so overwhelmed? So Jesse and Lisa, did you guys get a chance to listen to the podcast yesterday?
I'm certainly, yes.
Okay, so what did you think? And is there something we were missing? Do you think we missed anything that when it comes to like getting prepared and getting ready and just kind of starting off? What do you think about that? And where do you start? If you're going to start prepping right now, where do you start?
Well, I mean, before I answer that, I am wearing this hat in honor or in out of respect for the folks that are lost and that have
Yeah.
lost their lives in our state. Texas has gone through some serious, if you haven't already known, serious flooding in
Horrible.
central Texas, north of San Antonio, in Kerr County. So
Mhm.
there's been a lot of loss of life, and still a bunch of them that are still missing that they haven't found. Now, I
Yeah.
mean, I just can't imagine what kind of what they're going through. But when you're talking about prepping, obviously, like you said, it happened in the middle of the night for those folks.
Yeah.
But there's going to be times where we're going to need to prep. And the one thing I know, the first thing that everybody thinks about is, obviously, do you have any clothes on, right? If you're in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
But the first thing people think about is communication. Or that's what I think of. In your house, you're going to be yelling it. But once you get out of the house, you gotta think about, well, how do I communicate with my family? Either have a cell
Yeah.
phone, or and if you don't have any cell service, it's always good to have a set of walkie talkies.
Yep.
Walkie talkies are good to have on your little bug out bag or your exit bag, whatever you want to call it. But communication is the one thing, because that's the first thing everybody wants to know is, are you okay? Or, you can let somebody know, the police know, or your
Yeah.
mom and dad or grandparents say, hey, we're safe. We got out of the house, or we got out of the area, or whatever. So communication is the first thing on our minds. How can we get in touch with folks? So we either have our cell phones and or walkie talkies ready.
Yeah.
What say you, Casey?
Um, that's actually a really good one. I mean, communication, because if you don't live with your, extended family or family that you're close to, then a way to get in contact with them is very important. Whether it is walkie talkies. Now, I will say we have walkie talkies, but I only bought them because I thought they were really cool in colors. So I didn't necessarily buy them originally for prep, but I mean, they work for prep.
They would work.
Yeah.
I want to pull up these two comments first. I'm trying to star them as they pop up. And this first one said, I started buying $10 worth of extra cans of food a week, which
Yeah, I
is a
love
really
that.
good one. That's a really
Mhm.
good kind of starting point when you go in. I mean, 10 $1 bills to put aside for your grocery shopping, however you do grocery.
Mhm.
I know I do once a month. I don't know about y'all. I do once a month. So putting 10 $1 bills aside so you can buy extra canned food is a very smart way to do it.
That's a great idea.
Tammy Bless said, I am from Texas. I live on a monthly budget and I normally get canned foods and simple things from Dollar Tree, medical
Mhm.
supplies, flashlights, and so on. I am same way with canned goods, some of the canned goods at the $1.25 tree. Did y'all know, this is so totally a side topic? It's not going to be the Dollar Tree or $1.25 tree anymore. Have you heard the
What's
news?
it?
It's going up to like the $3 and $5 and $10.
No.
Oh, wow.
I know, isn't that terrible? Anyways, that's a good one. I'm seeing medical supplies. I'm seeing a lot about canned goods.
We call it the 5 quarter store.
That's exactly it.
that-
Yeah.
so that's, I mean, saving food is a really good one. I do want to say,
And
before I pass it over to Monica, if y'all haven't heard today's episode that we're talking about, go ahead and head over to the Round the Hay Bale YouTube. It's on there. It is also on all the different podcast platforms. So Apple
Yeah.
Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon Alexis. If you ask Alexa to play Round the Hay Bale podcast, it will play the most recent podcast. So do it. We'll pop that link also in the chat too. But Monica, what do you do for
You
prep from the beginning?
I think that the very beginning, and that's one of the things we talked about in the Hay Bale Prepper Guide. And I think that over the next 6 weeks, it's really going to kind of evolve into a lot more detail. We really do start out the walkie-talkies out. Yeah, the cell phone service, seriously, too.
yeah,
One of the things I think that it really is, I need to get my head straight first. So really sitting down and to start is not even trying to think about all the little things I need. It's more like, okay, who am I prepping for? Who am I planning for? And how do I make sure they have their necessities? So for me, really starting out and making a list, that's how I prep first. I have to make a list and I have to look and see, what does this person need to survive? And then one of the things that even Sandy mentioned is, what does this person need to survive to be a nice person, to not be a bear, right? So like I know for me, I need some sort of chocolate. Give me some M&Ms or something, right? Casey needs bread. I'm not sure what that's all about. But I mean like I need some sort of chocolate so that I don't literally want to like encourage like to hurt people. I want to be an encouragement, not a I want to like hurt you. Because if I go a certain time without amount of, sugar in my system, I'm going to want to hurt people. So yeah, an emergency management plan. I think for me, that's the way I prep first is really to make a plan to see who I'm preparing for and what they need to survive. My son needs, I have two kids that need their emergency inhalers. And that's one of the first things I'm going to put in their go bag or I'm going to put into a plastic bin that's going to be safe if we have some sort of flooding, if we have some sort of waters that come barreling through here, or some sort of something happens. I'm going to put things into a watertight and airtight bin, hopefully that I can grab and go. It's not going to be so big we can't carry it. Somehow I can get it out of my house. That way I have those emergency things. Because mainly for my kids right now, it is the emergency inhalers. They need a few medical things. But I think that's the main thing for me is really to have that plan in place.
And we talked about that too, because in the guide, there is those lists that you can, because we talked about when you're in the middle of an emergency, sometimes your head doesn't always click into the working mode like it should. You think you be prepared and have everything up here and ready, but having something written down, like emergency guides of where to go, where to meet, who to talk to, who to contact, what to have, sometimes that slowly drifts away as you're in the initial panic mode of said emergency.
So.
So let me ask you this. So I'm a type 1 diabetic, so I have insulin. My insulin has to be refrigerated. So when you do a bug out bag, how do you, and you're all, oh, we need to go, get this. And, you forget it because it's in the refrigerator. Yeah. What's a good way to
for me,
I probably would remember it, but
but so that's one of those things that's going to be it's in your mind, right? But if it's let's just say you're with your family and they're preparing, right? You have your stuff with you. Let's just say someone's preparing for you, right? If I'm preparing for my kids and they're type 1, how do I make sure I don't forget something that they're relying on, right? Or maybe Jesse's like, okay, I need to make sure Lisa has her stuff because I'm not going to remember all of the things. Well, if you have it, I think personally, if you have it in your refrigerator and it's always there, maybe that's where you stick it in a bag or you make sure you have it on the paper in the book or you have it on the fridge in case of emergency, grab the bag. Like if you have it in front of you, that's always a reminder. But I think also it's something to be said for practicing your bug out or practicing your emergency preparedness plan. And somebody else had said that in here, practice your plan. And I will say that we do this. When we first moved here, one of the things, sticky for meds on a bug out. It is hard. It is a hard thing. But if you plan to do it, so you have a bag in the fridge that is with your cold medicine or you have your stuff, hey, you grab it and go, right? You grab it. It's cold. Make sure you have a cold pack somewhere that you can grab and throw in there or whatever. It's in an insulated bag. But I think if you prepare, it's just muscle memory. One of the things Eric and I did when we first moved here was we have a safe with all our pew-pews in it. And one of the things we practiced is doing the code from memory, and then turning it, opening it, and grabbing the first one that I need to grab, the one that's ready, that's locked and loaded and ready to protect me in an emergency. And he said, you have to know how to open that door, push those buttons, open that door. And even in the dark, Monica, you got to know how to push the buttons, open the door, grab what you need and be ready and get it ready. And, it's important to practice that. It needs to be your muscle memory.
So there's two different types of emergencies in my mind. Obviously, there's the emergency that occurred like in Central Texas. That happened in instant. There's really nothing you can do about that. But there are certain emergencies that occur. Like we know there's a hurricane coming. You can prepare for that. There's a tornado coming. You can prepare for that. Or there's, we lost power for whatever reason. You can prepare for that. And there's where those management lists come in handy where, okay, so we just lost power and it's probably the service says it's going to be out for 3 or 4 hours. Well, that you may have to start working on that plan. Exactly. I akin it to the same thing as going to Home Depot. Don't ever go to Home Depot without a list. Right.
Or into the grocery store hungry.
I need three things, and if
Yeah,
I
or
try
the
to
grocery
remember,
store.
when as soon as I walk in that store, my mind just goes poof, because now
Yeah.
I'm seeing everything that I either I know I needed some of those, or I forgot I needed it. And then what did I come here? What did I come here for?
Yeah.
You gotta have a list. I guarantee,
Yeah.
even if it's going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Well, I
So
watched a girl on Instagram that was the reason that we put this first list in the prepper guide that we have for the episode. And what she did, besides having it in her binder, she also had a second copy that was attached to the person's bug out bag or tub that was on there.
Yeah.
So when you're grabbing it, you're seeing, okay, I have my insulin. So then that would trigger, I need to go to the refrigerator and get the
Yeah.
insulin.
so
Or I
Monica mentioned.
insulin
So
and
sorry.
no, it's okay. Because that's a good
Sorry.
question. I mean, for those that do have stuff, the medication that's in the refrigerator, how do you remember that when you're in this frantic moment
Yeah.
of something
Yeah.
happening?
Right. But Monica mentioned something in the podcast that I never thought about, but and we really should do this. But you should also keep a little extra cash, maybe $10, $20, maybe $50 max, in with
Yeah.
your plan, because once you get out of your house or do whatever you got to do, you're thinking, wow, I don't have any cash, and
Yeah.
I know the ATM's down, or maybe I can't get to a bank or whatever. You got some cash that you can buy some stuff with if you have to,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and so it's good idea to do that.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things Anna Bore at Good Enough Homestead said, that she keeps all her meds in a bag in the fridge with my insulin. So if you have all your meds together, that makes sense too. I mean, that's the thing. You know what you need on a daily basis, right? You know what you need. So you're going to want to go for that. But yeah, I only want to bug in. I hope I don't ever have to bug out. No. And we don't plan to
Yeah.
bug out either, ever.
Right.
But what happens if it is a tornado or natural disaster that wrecks my house? In that
Yeah.
case, my kids have already had they already have their go bags on them. When we have a storm like that, my kids have their bags, they have their shoes on, and they have all that stuff, right? So they have it prepared and ready. So if something terrible happens, they've already got it prepared and ready to go. And I will say, for little kids, it's kind of scary to tell them to go get your bags. So you have to plan and practice it lots of times when there's nothing that really happens, so that when it is a scary time and you're already panicky, you tell your kids, hey, go get your bags, just like we practiced. It comes in handy when you have little kids. It really does. Because I know my 11-year-old has anxiety when it storms. And like right now, it's thundering outside. We've been getting alerts on our phones for an hour warning us that there was a severe storm coming, blah, blah, blah. And I could see immediately his panic in his face start to rise. The wind was picking up outside, and he's like, and I'm like, hey, you're good. And if you feel like you're nervous, put some shoes on. I'll allow it, and walk through the house with shoes. If that's what makes you feel better, wear your shoes around the house for a little bit. That way, you know that if something happens, you've got some shoes on and you can get out. We all have our shoes on when we need to, get out of here in the bad weather or something. So
Right.
do what makes you feel comfortable too, and practice, practice, practice. I will say that's really important to do that. And it's a really good idea for, everybody. So I love the drills. Yeah, the drills and everything. That's really good.
And we actually do have an episode on drills coming. So it's kind of interesting that this was one of the first kind of go-tos, is because that's important. I mean, where do you go? Where do you meet? But we do have it. It's coming.
Yes.
I promise. It's coming soon. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah. All the things we're really talking about, we're going to have episodes on this series. It's really good because we're also getting ideas of things we want to remind people when they're on the episodes. I mean, I love the idea about the radios. The walkie-talkies are super important.
So the other thing was, especially if it happens at night, is lighting. Obviously, we all have flashlights on our phone, but you can't use that all night long because you'll
Headlamp.
run your batteries down. So
Yeah.
you got to think about some alternate lighting, whether it be candles or the kerosene lamps, or the hurricane lamps, whatever you want to call them. I know we do a lot of thrifting, so when we find stuff like that that's really really cheap, we'll get a hurricane lamp. But we got probably six or seven different hurricane lamps. That way you're not carrying them around. We just put them in each room. That way you don't have to carry them around. Then you light them as you need them. And I guarantee you, because we've gone 9 days without power before. Trust me. And those hurricane lamps work wonders, especially at night. Something else you might think about. Depending on what you lose, if you live in a place that's all electric, you can't cook. unless you cook outside. So if you get to cook outside, then you got to make sure you got what you need to cook outside with, whether it be a grill or gas or propane or whatever. And then obviously we talked about your medications, but the last thing I want to talk about is water. We can live with a lot of things without a lot of things, but we can't live without water.
There's not one of them.
I am so glad you said that.
Every time we go to Costco, we always get a package of water, and that should be on your that's on your list.
Well, if you stay tuned, next Monday, we're dropping our episode on water and all the ways you can use water catchment. You can do water filters, all the different ways that you can prepare water. Exactly. Just like canning water. We talk about that on our episode next Monday. You're going to see, we talk about all the different ways. So now I need you guys to focus in. And like when you listen to next Monday's episode, think about things that we missed. Because that's where I'm like, okay, you guys listen to the episodes on Mondays because we need you to come in here on Tuesdays and tell us, hey, you didn't say this. Because we can't remember all the things. We're trying to give you ideas, but we need you guys to give us ideas because that's really what we're trying to do is help one another be more prepared.
And that's why the good thing is we have these note pages that are in it so you can take notes because listen, not one person knows everything. And having a community around you that you can learn different things and be like, oh, I remember Andale did say that. Let me jot it down in the story. And could you bring up that Andale picture for me, Jesse? Since we were talking about lights and that kind of stuff, our precious Andale homestead, she has a lot of Be Ready videos. And the Be Ready videos is kind of what set her to celebrity status. And they are really, really, I'm hearing the voice now as I'm saying that. Really, really good ones on lights. And I didn't know before about the, what's this, the lard stuff. It's not lard. Crisco. That is kind of like an endless supply of light.
One of the comments is, are y'all going to do a video on making lamps with Crisco/cooking oil? That is Miss Ann's jam.
Miss Ann's jam. We actually may have some videos on it. You'll have to stay tuned.
Miss Ann, can I get in the picture too? Oh, there. Thank you, Miss Ann.
She is hogging that screen, isn't she?
She's blocking me the whole. But no, Miss Ann's got a video on that.
She does.
So I think,
she does. And it's always good. I mean, because when we talked about buying $10 worth of stuff at the grocery store, I mean, Crisco is really not that much. And it lasts forever and a day. And you can pop it on your shelves and have it there. Because I watched Miss Ann's video over and over, and I'm like, why did I never think of getting some Crisco? Because then you can light it on. And she said it's the continuous amount. And I've tried it out. It lasts almost 12 hours for me. And it still looks like there's nothing in this Crisco. It is absolutely amazing. So definitely go over to Andale's channel, especially on Instagram. If you follow her on Instagram, that's where a lot of her Be Readies are. Once you click on it, you know how the algorithms are. They'll keep showing you more and more of all of her Be Readies, and it's stuff that you need to know and put into your notes. Type of situations.
You're so sweet, Casey. I love you.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Troy Sutton, welcome in.
And let me just say also, seeing you that you've canned water warms my heart because I'm the water canner of the bunch. Because Casey from Boots and Bounty, when I first was learning to can, I was like, Casey, I don't have enough to put in my pressure canner. She said, boy, if you don't fill up some jars of water and can it, get your 7, and then it's water that you can use for wound care if you have an emergency like that. But again, as Monica said, next week is our water purification and storage episode. It is jam-packed of information. It was a great episode.
It is. Yeah, so if you haven't downloaded it already, you can go and download it. Where can they download it? Is it in our link tree, Casey?
It's in our Linktree. It's on Etsy, and I'm
like 99 cents, guys. It's a download. It's a bunch of pages. You can pick and choose what you want to print out. You don't have to print all 80 bajillion pages. Casey works super hard on them, and there's lots of extras.
I will say also, because I'm going to pull it up so that someone can see it, there are a lot of downloadable links that are in the guide as well. So I'm going to remove this real fast and try to be super fast like Jesse and pull up stuff in the blink of an eye, which is not.
Hey, Tamara. Glad you're in here. She said my internet just came back. So glad I found you. Yeah, it is storming outside, guys. I don't know if you can hear that thunder in the background, but it is loud. I can hear the windows rattling. So I don't even know if it's raining yet here, but it is loud. I'm surprised I'm still internet wise. Good. It's loud here.
Okay, so as I said, for like water, if I can find it now, as I said it, I can't find it in the 87 pages. There are links. If you click on it, it will take you to Anne's recommendation, my recommendation, Monica, Sandy's, all of our recommendation on water storage.
Yep.
I can find it. There's the canning water. Now we're getting like a free little view of the guide. Like
There you go.
So if you click on these, it will take you over, so you have a link to go over and buy. This is the knockoff Berkey that I use. And the one underneath is the Simpure that Monica recommends for water inside of your house and the replacement. So basically that just saying that it's not just pages for you to print. It's actually, there are stuff like the links. There is link.
There's resources in there.
Yes.
That's the word I'm struggling to find. Yes. So, I mean, head over, download it. I am trying to find the link to put it in the hay bale. If you go over to the hay bale channel right now in the chat, I'm going to put it in there. If you click.
And Ginger put in there Andale's Be Ready video, one of them anyway. So you can see that video on trying to, I think that's the video on making a Crisco candle. It's the short she did on that. So yeah, there's lots of them she has, and Instagram as well as YouTube. So definitely go check them out as well. There you go. There's that guide.
That's a good one, Auntie Jan.
Yep. And you should use your extra pages to prepare for your pets. That's something Casey did years ago when we first started doing the podcast. He said something about prepping for his dogs. And I was like, why did I never think about that? Like, I didn't think about preparing for my animals like that. I mean, I guess I always prepare ahead as a farmer. I prepare ahead for my animals outside in the pasture because we get hay in August for the winter, right? So we're always thinking ahead. But I never thought about preparing for my indoor pets, like this cat over here that found her way into my room this evening. But I never thought about preparing cat food and dog food for those animals. I just never even thought about it. Yeah, animal go bag. That's a great idea. So you can put pets in there in your list of who to prepare for. Prepare for your pets too.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can use one of the kids things because we do have like 9 billion pages of kids. That was just so Monica and all of the other Monicas, because there are a lot of other Monicas out there.
There are a lot of homeschool moms that have a bajillion kids.
That you make sure you have enough. And listen, for me, my dog is kind of like my child right now. So I can use child one, put Destiny Maria's name on it, and then I know what she needs and her little bug out. So
exactly.
Different ways to do it.
Exactly. There's a lot of really good resources in there. There's a lot of good space for you to be able to make notes. And to make lists that things that you want to know and make sure you don't forget. I mean, Jesse and Lisa, you have some great ideas and things you were asking about. I think that's awesome. I never even thought about the medicines in your refrigerator. And that's such a good thing to think about. You know, we do have some, we keep my son's albuterol sulfate in the refrigerator because it actually works better in a nebulizer when it's cold. It actually soothes the throat when you're dealing with something like that cold. So we always keep it in the refrigerator. And when we go on a trip, sometimes I'll take, depending on the season, I will take my nebulizer, my portable neb, and I'll take a cold box of the nebs just in case I need the solution while we're gone. So yeah, that makes sense to think about the cold stuff too. I never would have thought about that. So I'm really glad you brought that up because that's genius right there. Thinking about where to, don't forget your cold things.
Yeah. I want to comment on this comment right here, just because I saw it. I know I have not found the ones that are made with cardboard with the full coating. Mine's still that like tin. That's kind of like the number 10 cans that you get that you can use as rocket stoves. You know what I'm saying? The Crisco that I found. Now, I don't know if either one of y'all have
ours has
the cardboard.
Yeah, ours has the card. You could push it in.
Yeah, I guess mine's an old school one. Maybe it's been sitting at my grocery store for like 9 billion years. And
maybe That's something we asked Miss Ann about. Which one did she use? Because she's using a Walmart brand. It looks like Crisco, maybe, on her video. I don't even know if she's using a full-on real Crisco or if it's like, the off-brand, which, is cheaper anyway. But maybe we can ask her which she's using, because if she's using a, more of that paper type can, then, hers worked pretty well.
I will say also when I lit mine, that it didn't seem to spread all the way to the outside. It kept the light, and the light was good. So, but it still stayed kind of centered in the Crisco, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And again, it literally lasted the 12 hours that I was just testing it to see, and didn't spread to the outside. So that would be a really good question for Anne.
Yeah.
I would not be the one to answer that, but it's a really good question, which is why I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah. That's a great question. Yeah, lard and all that too. Good night. You know what though? Honestly, we gotta go too. It has been 30 minutes and this is about our time. We've always tried to stay really close to our time. And we thank you guys so much for coming in here for all this time with us. Thank you, Jesse and Lisa, again, for coming and hanging out with us. We appreciate you so much for being here. And come back next week. Okay. Everybody come back next week, right? And listen to our video, listen to our podcast next Monday. It's going to be water catchment and water stuff. And we need you guys out there in the chat to listen to the podcast and then come in here on Tuesday nights and tell us, what did we miss? Is there anything you can add to what we were saying? Because we need to know so that we can put it a part of our list. There's really great people in here and great people all around us. And we all will do better when we're working together. So thank you guys so much for coming in here. Thank you everyone in the chat. Thank you for everyone in Miss Ann's chat, because I know Miss Ann is still hosting us tonight on Around the Hay Bale and Hey Y'all Hey. So thank you guys so much. We will see you next week on Hey Y'all Hey. Until then, bye. Bye y'all. Bye.
Good night.
Hey, Monica, did you know it's now even easier to listen to Around the Hay Bale podcast?
What? Really? How easy?
That's right. All you have to do is say, Alexa, play Round the Hay Bale podcast.
Playing Round the Hay Bale podcast on Apple Music.
Ooh, we're really fancy now.
Tune in to Round the Hay Bale every Monday at 9 a.m. Central Time.